In this video, I'm going to show y'all how to make drop biscuits with bacon grease. First thing you need to do is take your bacon grease out of the freezer. To remove this bacon grease from the cup, you want to run a butter knife around the outside of it. And there you go. Just put your bacon grease in a cast iron skillet. Now you want to put that cold skillet with the bacon grease inside of a cold oven. Set your oven to 450 and turn it on. Now while that oven and pan is heating up at the same time and melting that bacon grease, I'm going to make my biscuits. This is 2½ cups of self-rising flour, and to that I'm going to add a ½ teaspoon of baking powder. I do this because self-rising flour never has enough baking powder in it, so I always add a little more to make damn sure my biscuits rise. Pour your hot grease into that flour. You want to mash that bacon grease into the flour. It's going to take you a good 10 to 15 minutes to get all that bacon grease mashed up. Now make you a well in the center. And I'm using 3/4 cup of whole milk. Now when you stir it, you stir from the center and let that flour fall into that well. If your flour is really dry, it's okay to add a little more milk. Add about 2 tablespoons at a time. Y'all see what I did there? I'm pouring the milk into the parts that have the dry flour. I need to get them incorporated into the dough. See, y'all think I'm screwing up these biscuits, but I'm not. Okay, that's about right. If I add any more milk to it, it might make these biscuits spread out too much. What you want to do now is take your fork and take a big blob of dough like this and drop it into your skillet. That's why they call drop biscuits. And you can shape that dough a little bit if you want to. It ain't going to hurt nothing. See, drop biscuits aren't just plopped down into the pan from the bowl. They're just not patted out and shaped on a board. So they're not smooth. They're a little bit rustic. This works if you don't have a board to pat them out on. Like if you're out camping or on a wagon trail or whatever. They're simple. Your fat doesn't have to be frozen. And more oftentimes than not, the bacon grease is not frozen. I just like to portion my grease and my lard into those little condiment cups because that way I don't have to measure it when I'm ready to use it. When you put your biscuits in the pan, make sure they're fairly close so that when they rise, they'll rise into each other and they'll be soft. Now these are going into a 450 degree oven for about, I'm going to cook mine for 20 minutes. Now when you want to clean up your bowl, sprinkle a little bit of flour in it. And this is just regular AP flour. Don't waste your self-rising flour for cleaning. Anytime I make biscuits, bread, or cookies or whatever, anything with flour, I always use flour to clean out the bowl. It will compact when it gets wet and clog up your drain just like grease will. So it's always best to just toss the flour outside or in the trash. Biscuits are done, y'all. I just took them out of the oven and they are really hot. That's what they look like. That's what you want. Tender and fluffy on the inside, crunchy on the outside. It's gonna be good eating. Drop biscuits make a really good snack biscuit or dinner biscuit. If you can make these biscuits with melted bacon grease. You can also make them with melted lard or melted butter. My favorite biscuit recipe is actually my own recipe for traditional lard-based southern buttermilk biscuits, and it's only posted on Patreon. Now I'm going to eat this biscuit. It's really good. You don't actually taste the bacon grease so much, but you do get a little bit of saltiness from it. If you got limited space, you don't have a board to pat your biscuits out on, make you some drop biscuits with bacon grease.